Starfield news has dropped. I repeat, new Starfield news has dropped.
Yes, the time has finally come. We got a new Starfield release date. And it might not be what everyone had hoped, but Starfield is releasing September 6th of this year. Just now Bethesda dropped the official launch date announcement, with some new gameplay and a little Todd Howard interview. One more important date to write in your agenda is June 11th. Here Todd Howard will do the long-awaited Starfield deep dive, and it wouldn't be a Starfield trailer if I didn't analyze every single frame. So let's get into it. The trailer opens with a shot of this gigantic spaceship. After another cinematic planet shot, we heard this.
This is Constellation Star Station LO868. Welcome aboard.
So this space station, which we have seen in a previous trailer, is aligned with Constellation. And in the next shot we can actually see the player docking it. In this shot we can see the interior of the space station, which looks really good by the way. And it has this one lonely NPC just watching the stars for anomalies.
The eye is showing signs over another one of those big anomalies. Maybe you catch a smile and uncover the source of it all.
Now we know, alongside the ancient artifacts, we also have to deal with some type of anomalies in Starfield's main story, which we could assume are connected. Then we get a look at this building, with some type of magical gate that opens for us, which has a lot of resemblance to the ancient artifacts. Then we get to see the interior. We have seen this kind of interior before in a trailer, but they do look like they're actually different places. After the magical space rings go crazy, they actually create something that looks like a black hole, and we see the player getting sucked into it here. Then we get a release date. It's kinda sad that Todd didn't get his funny release date, like 11/11/22. After the release date, he finally shows up. Is he gonna tell us why Starfield is delayed again? No. In this whole interview, Todd actually doesn't say much interesting stuff. But what is interesting is this guy over here just playing Starfield in the background.
We're playing the game all the time. Shout out over here to lead producer Tim Lamb.
Hello there.
If we zoom in on his TV screen, we can actually see some type of human running with you. So this is the first official gameplay we see of a human companion. In this next shot we can see something that every Bethesda fan always wanted. Something that was definitely needed to make Starfield a big success. A pink crosshair. When Tim over here plays some more, we can see one of the more interesting shots. The looting. We can see that the player here finds a little stash of different sized crates. So yeah, here we finally get to see a little bit more of the UI. One thing that's noteworthy, the UI here is actually kind of like pink, purplish, just like the crosshair. So I assume this is a setting that you can change, like in Fallout 4, where you were able to change the color of your Pip-Boy UI. Right after this, Todd tells us about the Starfield Direct. And in the next shot, we can see something very interesting. It could definitely be nothing, but on the screen here, we can see Starfield, and on the bottom says press to start. So this could likely be Starfield's title screen. And if it is, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it, but we'll have to see for ourselves. Then we pan back to Todd and Tim does some flying around with his jetpack, which we always like to see more of. Then finally we get another gameplay shot that is a bit closer, so we can actually see the HUD better. We have seen the HUD before, but here we can see a couple additional details. For example, we won't be getting a compass on the top of the screen anymore. In Starfield, your quest markers or other points of interest will be marked on your watch. On this watch you can see the information of the planet you are on, your stamina, or otherwise called oxygen, and on the left here you can see the two little quest markers. Another quick thing to point out, we are actually getting our own grenade counter on the bottom right. And the last thing to point out from this shot is the wind turbines. We only really seen them in like a cinematic or outpost building shot, but here we can see them during actual gameplay. And I gotta say, they look pretty damn good. Then we get another look at Tim's gameplay and we see the quick select menu again. So we can see that you can store at least 12 items on there. To finish off the trailer, we get 3 more shots of some developers playing the game. The first one here is on a more tropical sandy planet, and we can see these two goofy giraffe looking things here. It's hard to tell from a 1-second clip, but the movement looks kinda janky. Then we finally got to see the actual menus. Well, at least only the inventory menu. On the left here we can see a bunch of different options for helmets with different numbers next to them, and on the top it says DR. I'm gonna assume that means damage resistance. And if we then go over to the right, we can see your physical resistance, your energy resistance, and then something like EM. I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe it's a new damage type. Or it could also mean environment, since the logo could maybe be perceived as a stick with some little leaves on it. But it's really hard to say because it's so small. Under those we can see some more resistances. We can see thermal, corrosive, radiation, and the top right one I find a little bit hard to read, but I think it says airborne. What that would mean in terms of resistance, I'm not really sure. Maybe it is how aerodynamic you are, who knows. Under those we can see the mass, which is just a different word for weight, and next to that we can see the value. For the people that didn't know, we can see on the bottom left that the currency of Starfield is credit, and next to that we can also see your carry weight. The last interesting feature from this shot is on the bottom of the screen. You can see an option you can toggle that hides your helmet in breathable areas, which is pretty cool if you want to play in third person, so that beautiful face you created in character creation won't be hidden behind the helmet at all times. Our last developer is fighting this horrifying looking creature, which is level 75, which seems pretty high for a Bethesda game, but we can't really be sure about that. Also, he seems to be in some type of interior. It could be like an abandoned research facility or a cargo hold of some type. That was the end of the trailer, so now all we can do is wait for Bethesda to put out a new piece of Starfield content and thank Tim for the awesome gameplay and a beautiful pink hut. If you're excited for Starfield, make sure you subscribe so you stay updated on the latest Starfield news, and then I'll see you guys at the next video.